All right, folks, let's dive into a critical topic that's shaping our future. Let's call it tariff tango and economic impact. Have you heard about the new tariffs that President Trump has introduced? Like a 10% tax on most imports and a staggering 145% on Chinese goods? It sounds dramatic. Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve, has been discussing how these tariffs are causing volatility in the stock market. You've got escalating tensions between the US and China, and businesses and households, too, are feeling the pressure. It's like a giant economic seesaw, and tariffs are definitely tilting it.
So if I'm understanding this right, tariffs are basically like taxes on things that come from other countries, right? And that's making prices go up?
Exactly. Think of it like this. If you normally buy a cool gadget from overseas for $100 and the government slaps a $10 tariff on it, you're now paying $110. It's like grabbing a $5 coffee every morning, then finding out your favorite barista just raised the price to $7. You hesitate. It impacts your budget. Suddenly, those fancy lattes aren't happening, and you're just sticking to drip coffee.
Ooh, right. So people will start buying less because everything's more expensive. Hold on, what about those jobs Trump was talking about? Is there any positive side to these tariffs?
Great question. The theory is, by making imported items pricier, it encourages people to buy domestically produced goods. The hope is that this supports American manufacturing and creates more jobs. But yeah, there's always a but here. When consumer prices rise, it can hit low and middle-income families especially hard. It's sort of like trying to paddle upstream against a strong current. You might be making headway, but the exact opposite could be happening for others.
Whoa, it sounds like a double-edged sword. So inflation is happening, and yet the economy is technically still strong? How does that even work?
Fantastic observation. It's like being at a party where you can still hear the music playing, but you can also smell the smoke from the kitchen. Powell is saying that while we see rising inflation and slower growth, a bit of a party foul, if you will, the underlying economy remains solid for now. The Fed has held interest rates steady, which is their way of saying they're keeping a close eye on the dance floor, so to speak.
Whoa, it doesn't sound like a good time at the dance floor. But what about, why do you think investors are losing confidence?
Well, as various tariffs get enacted, there's a ripple effect on global markets. When investors see these increased tariffs and price hikes, it's like watching a stock tumble down a hill. Nobody wants to be left holding the bag. We're seeing rising interest rates on government bonds, indicating that folks are pulling back their investments, like stepping away from a game of poker when the bets are getting too risky.
A poker game? Haha, not the best analogy there. But can we turn this around? Are there any strategies that could potentially calm the waters?
Absolutely. It's a matter of balance. The Federal Reserve has to navigate between keeping inflation in check and providing jobs, like a tightrope walker trying not to look down. They could adjust interest rates if inflation goes unchecked, or promote trade deals that ease pressure on tariffs. But if they make the wrong move, whoa, things can spiral quickly.
So much could happen based on decisions that might seem small in the grand scope of things. But are we stuck in this economic seesaw forever?
Not forever. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Economic conditions shift and flow like tides. With the right approach and prudent decision-making, economies can stabilize and thrive. But it requires careful navigation and sometimes a bit of creativity. Kinda like figuring out how to get the last piece of cake without causing an argument.
Haha, creative cake acquisition, I love it. So in essence, with these tariffs making waves, the outcome really relies on how well we adapt to the changing tides, right?
Spot on! It's all about adaptability and foresight, like being able to read the room at a social gathering. It's all about responding to the signals around us.
Interesting. So true. It's almost like economics is just one big social experiment. But yeah, what do you think the future looks like?